uh, our topic for the research study is the integration of artificial intelligence in the selection and recruitment processes. And why do we have that kind of topic? So, based on my own experience, I've been experiencing lots of application tracking system, which is run by AI, through LinkedIn, through other websites that offers jobs. So, by the way, let me introduce myself. Again, I'm Rohanne Cyrus Mendoza from the Bulacan State University. I am currently a fourth year student undertaking a bachelor degree of public administration. And so let me move the slide. And so first question is, what is AI?
Well, AI is probably bigger than most people realize. I remember, well, I don't remember because I wasn't there, but I know that back in the 60s, artificial intelligence was part of the academic world. A small part, but part of the academic world. There was research being done on it. If you have a look on Wikipedia or even just Perplexity, and you type the name Eliza, Eliza, it was one of the first artificial intelligence chatbots. And it took the role of a counselor, and you could have a conversation with this counselor through the computer. And a lot of people who conversed with it couldn't tell whether it was a real person behind the computer screen or whether it was in fact a computer. And it was, this is back in the 60s and 70s, so it was fundamental. We fast forward through to about the time that social media first became important for business, around 2004, 2005. And again, artificial intelligence was very important, but to corporates, because they're the only ones who had the money to have the research budget to look into artificial intelligence and how it could help organizations, with boring, dull, routine processes. And a lot of corporations played with it, and it developed. Now we find ourselves in 2024 again, another sort of like flex moment where, back in 2004, 2005, we had social media, and there were a lot of people saying social media will never last, it's a fad, it'll never be important. We're here now with AI, and AI is probably the biggest thing that's ever happened to the business world and mankind in general. It is going to be absolutely huge. And it's going to touch every facet of our lives, not just with computers, but because of what's coming after we move through our laptops and our desktops. Already, artificial intelligence can control what's on our screen, can control our cursors on our screen. It can cut and paste. So, for instance, if you've got a prompt on your screen, it will interact with that prompt and reshape it and make it better. So, that's already here, late 2024. Where are we going to be in 2026? No one knows, but it's going to be brilliant.
Okay. So I saw your post last time, the day one, astounding artificial intelligence, and it's real that AI help us with the complex tasks to be more efficient on our daily tasks. And AI are already being used for the academics, especially at the university. Uh, at the same time, they check if there will be AI detections or for the manuscripts or thesis of the students. So that's why it's been the same time good, and at the same time ways of cheating for students. And well, for general, AI is does the complex things for us.
Yeah. Oh, look, and
Right.
then there's two things there. One is the use of AI in the recruitment process, and the other is the use of AI to check students' work to see whether it's been plagiarized or AI's used it. On that second point, no software that's supposed to be able to check for AI usage has ever worked. And you can go back through the history books. I mean, some classics where the AI detection software has said that the American Bill of Rights was written by AI, and the Constitution was written by AI. It's all these sorts of things. Now, I know there's a number of companies out there, Grammarly and a whole bunch of others, who are saying, yes, we're going to launch some AI detection software. But it's never worked. And all Grammarly and these companies are doing is a cynical play to get universities to pay up lots and lots of dollars for something that doesn't work. But, they'll keep trying, and universities, keep trying and plugging away with their money. But so that's not, if you're using AI, the latest versions of AI, like Claude, which is the engine I use 90% of the time, or ChatGPT for, text stuff. These engines can't pick it. They can't tell. And as the AI, as Claude and ChatGPT develop further, it's going to get it's just going to become impossible to tell whether you're using Claude or ChatGPT or whatever in your essays. Now back to recruitment. The recruiters, there's various sort of industry bodies for recruitment, and about the last that I read is about 51% of companies in the Western world are using AI for recruitment. And it's down to simple things like screening resumes, just to sort of sort out whether that applicant has got the qualifications necessary or not. And then it can do AI is very good at doing psychographics, so we can read what's on the resume and the person's cover letter and the background and go, yeah, they might fit in our culture, or no, they're probably not going to fit in our culture. So you can screen them out straight away. But the interesting thing that I found with AI and recruitment is that a lot of these companies using AI in their processes are saying this AI stuff is brilliant because if it's programmed right, it doesn't have any bias anymore. The manufacturers have done a great job of ruling out bias in these AI engines. And so you get candidates based on what they can do and who they are, rather than the color, the skin, the religion, the gender, all these sorts of different factors. You're just getting the nub of whether the person can do the job or not. And that is saving hundreds of hours for these recruiters. It's game changing for them.
That's true, sir. So I don't have anything to say about what you've said because it's all true and it's all good. So let's just move forward.
Yeah, sure.
Hi. So what are the primary benefits of integrating AI into recruitment workflows? So you've already said it that AI runs through secure resume screening and such, and also for me it influence efficiency for the top workloads of humans in a company that actually been what do you call this human resource division. So the benefits of it does influence efficiency and all. So how about you? What are your answers to this question?
The use of AI, as I alluded to previously, the use of AI is it takes out bias. So we know from corporations that some of the middle management aren't as perhaps unbiased as you would hope. And so using AI in, say, for example, the HR process, and the direct supervision, direct supervisors at sort of junior management level can help neurodiverse employees survive, because the neurodiverse employee doesn't process information the same way that the neurotypical employee processes information. Their brains, and I'm neurodiverse, so my brain is wired differently from the majority of the population. And so I process information differently. And if you are biased against another employee or colleague, and you think that they're a bit of a dimwit, or they're just thick and they don't get it, AI can help screen out that sort of bias in your decision making and help you come to terms with the fact that this person is built differently, but they bring a ton load of strengths that you don't have to the organization. And so that's a key thing. The bias is slowly being weeded out of the organization as AI is introduced into the organization more and more.
Okay, sir. So, based on your question, based on your answer, uh, it explains how natural language processing or machine learning is applied to the recruitment system. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So that's the next question. Can you explain how national natural language processing or machine learning is applied? So you've already answered it, so we'll move forward.
Okay.
So okay, so which AI-based recruitment strategies are most effective and why? So, for your answer earlier, so you said resume screening, and at the same time, there's this candidate matching and video interviewing. So, let me rephrase the question. So, what do you think about the video interviewing as AI-based recruitment strategies? Is it efficient and why?
Video interviewing is just brilliant. The ability for artificial intelligence to review videos within microseconds and make judgments. Judgments is probably the wrong word, but I can't think of the right word. I'm sorry, and I'm a wordsmith, and I can't think of the right word, so I apologise. But for you to make decisions about the suitability or otherwise, or the benefits and pros versus cons of candidates in microseconds is brilliant. I mean, the video interviewing process can take, you can do hundreds and hundreds of applicants in a moment. And with the power of today's video generation, character, generation, the candidate may never know that they're interviewing with a AI generated human being. They think they're interviewing with a real person, and they're asking questions and they get answers back, and they're having a good to and fro conversation. No idea that it's a bot that's talking to them. That video interviewing it just saves organizations so much time, especially the big corporates, because they've got hundreds, if not thousands, of applications per year, and they can, with video interviewing, screen them within seconds and pick out the short list of candidates to then interview personally in person, with a real person behind the camera.
Video interviewing tools analyze nonverbal cues like the tone and body language of the applicants. That's add to the depth of evaluation process. Am I right?
Well, I mean, just to add to that further, they just released psychology in the psychology press, which I read a lot of. They just found a way from video, they can video candidates and tell whether they're ADHD or not from a 5-minute video interview. So, you're automatically screening out group because the neurodiverse organizations these days in the last, say, 5 years have suddenly realized how important neurodiverse people are to their organization, because they're not doing the things that everyone else does. They process information differently, and they are able to see patterns and ideas and concepts that others just struggle to see, and yet they see it so clearly, so quickly. So they're bringing all this creativity to the organization, and organizations, especially larger ones, recognize now that they need that creativity because business has got to such a level that everyone is doing the same thing. So therefore they have to be creative to find something different to stand out in the marketplace. And there come the neurodiverse people, and that's why organisations now, for example, some design companies in London are now they used to ad companies. They used to recruit only graduates from Oxford and Cambridge and all these sorts of things. And they've got to have high honors and masters and things. Now they've ditched all of that recruitment nonsense, and they're only hiring neurodiverse people because these people get the job done, and they get it done in such a way that neurotypical people just can't do it. And for them, those organizations, that means that they can do something creative and stand out from their competition.
That's true, and that's a wonderful question. A wonderful answer from you. And next question is, how can organization address algorithmic bias in AI-driven hiring? So you've already answered this one. So let me share my answer to this. I've already typed my answer. So let me read it to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, organization can reduce bias by using diverse and representative training data. So regularly auditing algorithms and incorporating fairness-focused AI frameworks. Human oversight is crucial to review AI recommendation and ensure decisions align with ethical standards. So the only thing or the challenges within the AI recruitment processes is the ethical concerns that are currently facing. So that's why we need there's this there's this oversight from humans to uh, debunk those biases and uh, so that we can ensure that decisions are aligned with the ethical standards of the company. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's interesting because if you go back the past 5, 10 years, every time an AI engine has been seen to be biased, and they found it to be biased, the whole tech AI industry goes into major lockdown and firefighting because these organizations don't want their processes to be accused of bias because it doesn't look good. As they say in the politics world, it's not good optics. And so they go out of their way to make sure that they've removed any possible bias whatsoever. But it's kind of like a rising tide in that if one organization is double checking its processes to make sure there's no bias, then everyone else does as well. Every other organization, because they don't want to be accused of bias. And so just the quality just lifts and lifts and lifts and lifts so that these days it's rare, not unheard of, but it's rare for organizations to be pinged for, well, that's a bit of a bias, isn't it? Because it's just such bad publicity for them to be caught.
So, what measures can be implemented to ensure fairness and compliance with ethical and legal standards in AI recruitment? So, you've already stated your answer earlier. So, let me state mine. So, implementing transparency in a decision-making process, ensuring compliance with privacy and anti-discrimination laws. At the same time, conducting regular audits to algorithms to detect and mitigate biases. So that's my answer to it. So let me explain why there's this conducting regular audits. Conducting these audits to the algorithm that they are using makes it more fair to every applicants that there will be no discrimination whether whatever your race is, colors, or your gender, and especially the age. In the Philippines, most of the time you will not be accepted if you are in the 40s to 50s, and if you do not have a degree, college degree, you will not be able to be promoted
Mm.
into higher offices or higher positions. That's why if we are to integrate or we are to ensure the fairness of the compliance, we need to regularly audit in order to for us to make this kind of equality, not just not just equity, but equality to all applicants that been applying for positions or for any company.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a problem that's been in the corporate world or in just the world for many a decade. You know, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, here in Australia, we know full well that if you're 40 and you lose your job, you're unlikely to find another job at the same level. You'll have to take something far lower and with far less pay if you get a job at all. And certainly once you hit your 60s, forget it. You know, you are old. You are just ancient. You're a dinosaur. And so, you know, for the politicians in Australia recognised that quite a while ago. And so they outlawed, and I'm sure they've done it in many other countries as well, they outlawed on application forms and in interviews asking the age question. So you can't ask the age question. You can't ask whether someone's married. You can't ask about their relationship status or if they have children. All these sorts of different things to try and protect the employee. That's been going around since, you know, way before AI came into this world. But if you use consultancies, and you know there are plenty of ethics consultancies, and you have your own internal team looking at your data and your decision making processes using AI. You can go a long way to making sure, and the regular audits, as you pointed out, Rohanne. If you had those regular audits, then you've got a fairly good chance of being clean and clear and transparent.
In what ways should human oversight complement AI system to enhance recruitment outcomes? So for me, it is essential for human oversight to validate AI-generated recommendations to handle complex decision making and at the same time ensure alignment with the organizational values. Recruiters can also use AI insight as a starting point while adding their expertise to assess cultural fit in other intangibles. So at the same time, it correlates with the answer earlier. So now, what are your answer to this?
I think it's not just recruitment outcomes. I think you can look at this across the whole company or the whole organization. That AI is brilliant and it does the drudgery work for you. Brilliant. I mean, you know, I've worked with companies where you know we've freed up the accounts people, you know, the men and women, you know, just inputting, invoices into the system and all that mind-numbingly boring work. We freed them up for them to do far more creative stuff, and they loved it because they're free from the drudgery. So it's not just recruitment outcomes that can be affected by ethical AI, but you know we've changed some organisations the way they work because they've suddenly realised the value of their staff. They thought they were just box tickers and warehouse people and you know keyboard typists, and suddenly all this creativity comes to the organization and they use it and run with it and it does good for their bottom line. It's great. It's not that AI is brilliant at this top level decision making stuff. Yes, it can be. Yeah, I use AI all the time, and I get it to do a whole lot of stuff for me. But at the end of the day, I am still the decision maker. I go through all of its outputs, you know, because I write books and I use AI for a lot of that writing of those books. But it's my decision at the end of the day what goes in, what goes out, what gets changed, you know, all these sorts of things. It's human oversight that makes the difference between something that's spat out and something that is refined and can actually work in the organization's work for the organization's benefit.
That's true, sir. And at the same time, for me, I also use AI in most every task as I do in my organization, like uh, narrative planning of for the projects that we are gonna implement. So there's this command, and then AI will write you the plan. So I have to paraphrase or to exclude other non-relative uh, sections of a plan so that the plan or the project can execute very quickly, very clean, and very precise as how I imagine it to be. So That's the human oversight that we are talking about.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been involved in business communications since the late 90s. And uh, AI is good. You can. It would take me a week for some of my clients. It would take me 3, 4, 5 days maybe to come up with a marketing plan and a brand strategy and all this sort of stuff. I can now spit that out in a minute through ChatGPT. And so it saves a tremendous amount of time. But as you quite rightly point out, Rowan, it's got to be overseen by someone. Someone has to make the final decision and pull out those bits that aren't relevant, the bits that aren't going to work for that particular client, and make sure that what you present to the client is going to work. Well, as much as you can, determine that in advance. And so, yeah, I mean, it's got to be human oversight. It has to be and there's this huge wrenching, because I write novels and stuff, and there's this huge pearl clenching, wrenching stuff going on with the writing purists at the moment who don't want anything to do with AI because they think it's just, you walking up to Chat GPT and say, write me a novel. And we know, the two of us know that that can't happen. You can't just go to ChatGPT and it'll spit out a novel. It'll be garbage. But if you oversight and you prompt well and you specify lots of things, then yeah, it can knock out something half decent and then you finesse it. And that's the human oversight. You have to finesse the stuff.
Okay. So the next question is, how does AI enhance the candidate experience during recruitment?
Well, I mean, we touched on this a little bit earlier with the videos, in that the candidate doesn't know, or the applicant doesn't know, that they're talking to they're talking to a bot. And so they think they're talking to someone in the company who's quite, sort of a senior, a decision maker, whatever. They feel that they've walked away, when that interview's over, that they've made a good impression for themselves on that organization. So they feel good about themselves, or maybe not if they've really stuffed up, but, they feel good about themselves. It enhances their experience. Plus, they also can be confident that, the resume screening and the cover letter screening and all that goes on is fair and unbiased, far more than a human panel of interviewers. Because normally there's like the one candidate and 3 or 4 interviewers, which is just frightening because you never know what you're going to have to ask or answer, and it's scary for a lot of people. So the candidate, when they're experiencing a one-on-one video, it's so much easier for them to be at ease and to answer comfortably. So I think the AI does enhance their experience quite significantly.
So for me, AI enhanced their experience through quick responses via chatbots, and at the same time, offering real-time updates. So that's the process of being more transparent and engaging for the candidates and the recruiters, like the AIs.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also screened out the bias to a very large extent, which, when you've got that panel of 3 or 4, you don't know what biases they've got, but you can sure they've got them.
Okay, sir. So for the next question, we have, what is the role of an AI strategist like Lee Hopkins in the promoting trust and transparency around AI in the recruitment?
I think it comes back to being a business communicator. What I can do is communicate, and so podcast, vidcast, white papers, blog posts, LinkedIn articles, all sorts of stuff, anything to get the word out. Because at the moment, I mean, this is a surprising stat that I found yesterday. Only about 6% of the people on LinkedIn have anything to do with AI. It's so, the consultancies, there's so few AI consultancies around in the world at the moment. I mean, it's going to get bigger, it's going to explode. But at the moment, there's so few that getting the word out there is the most important thing that we as consultants can do. I go back to 2004 and 5 when I got involved with social media here in Australia. And, me and several others would go around to these companies all around Australia saying you need to be involved with social media. It's going to revolutionize your, contact with stakeholders. And they all go, no, 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 no. And, eventually we were right. And so the same is going to happen with AI. The number of consultancies will just explode within the next couple of years, but only if we can do the background stuff now, promoting the trust and the transparency that can happen with AI because it's taken out all those biases.
Another role of an AI communication strategist is emphasizing fairness and efficiency in ethical compliances. Am
Mm.
I right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And that's part of the job of communication. If we don't communicate that AI can be unbiased and fair, then how's the world to know? It's just going to run on old biases that from 5, 10 years ago, and the world has changed quite dramatically in terms of recruitment and business since then. So it's our job as communicators to get the word out there and to engender that trust.
Okay. So we do have one question.
Go on.
Okay. So what emerging AI technologies do you believe will shape the future of recruitment?
I'll go back to video because I think video it's the game changer. It's the same way that when YouTube first came out, no one ever believed that it would become the world's second biggest search engine, and no one expected it to have the power to hold people's attention for so many hours. The same will happen with video in recruitment. Where we are now with AI generated interviewers is good. But if you know what you're looking for, you can tell that it's fake. 6 months, 12 months down the track, you will not be able to tell. I use a voice speech thing at the moment. So I've cloned my voice and I record podcasts and all sorts of stuff. Because the video technology isn't there yet, but the speech technology is. In 6 to 12 months' time, the video technology will be there. And so I can just, write a script or have Claude write me a script. And then my computer face, my AI face and my AI voice will create a video and recruit people, have conversations with them in real time and everything, and no one will be able to tell. But that will save organizations, their HR departments, billions of hours and billions of dollars.
For me, the AI-driven market insights for strategic workforce through augmented reality can poise the shape of the future. And for us, AI is the next big thing that we can get from the internet, from the technologies we have, and those augmented realities are already existing, but having it under the AI-driven market insight is much more advanced and fair to all of organizations.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's my answer to
yeah.
the
No,
last
I
question.
totally agree with you.
The last part, the last slide is a thank you for from me, and thank you, Sir Lee Hopkins, for uh, accepting the invitation to be interviewed for our study. So this study will be presented with our professor and classmates. So I hope they like what we've discussed tonight, and we hope, and I personally hope to have more conversations with you about AI and communications strategy.